Good evening, Headmaster, distinguished guests, teachers, parents and children. Firstly, I'd like to say that I'm so grateful to be up on this stage in front of you all, having held the honour of being head boy of such a great school for the last 12 months. Thank you everybody for giving me this opportunity. I loved listening to Elliot's speech last year, but my John Colet story is a bit different. I want to start from the very beginning, when I was in Year 2 in 2009. I remember at that time, my dad took me to a trial day at John Colet, which was the start of my experience at John Colet School. On the day of the trial, which I knew absolutely nothing about, I woke up like on a normal day and began getting dressed ready to go to school, the local public school. It started out as a normal day for me, so I got in the car with Dad and he started to drive the wrong way. I said to him, "Where are we going?" And this is when my whole entire world changed. Dad said, "I am taking you to another school for a trial day." At this moment, my heart dropped, and I remember absolutely bawling out my eyes. I was hysterical for the whole car trip, not wanting to go to a new school. I must admit, Dad, at this moment, you were far from my favourite person. I remember reaching the school and walking in with my dad. I walked into my classroom and greeted Mrs. Donald. I was so nervous. The bell then went and Mrs. Donald, my dad and I took up a seat. Mrs. Donald introduced me to the class and said, "Let's pause." Mrs. Donald then sat up straight, put her hands together like this and started to recite this chant that all the children repeat back to her. I had no idea what everybody was doing, so I looked across to my left towards my dad, who was sitting in the last row, wondering what on earth was going on. Dad immediately copied Mrs. Donald's actions like this. So I copied too, like this. As the day went on, I started to realise that I was actually enjoying myself, unlike the feelings I had been accustomed to. Mrs. Donald was the perfect teacher and mentor. The children were really nice, and the class activities were so different to what I was used to. I started to realise that this is the perfect school for me. And so began my new world, a world which I have since grown to love and cherish. But it was a pretty bizarre introduction. So what was it about this school that made it so special to me? Well, how long have I got, Headmaster? I could be here forever. I'd just like to say that all the teaching staff had made my John Colet School experience great, but I'd just like to mention 3 very important people that have made a massive impact on my primary school career. Let's start at the top. Mrs. Donald. You have been a kind, nurturing teacher. You have helped me through all the ups and downs I have had, especially when I started at the school as a very nervous, young, shy-year-old. You made the transition from one school to another so easy. I know for a fact that all of my classmates think the same. In fact, when news broke that Mrs. Donald would not be teaching us in Year 5 and beyond, we were all devastated. We will never forget you, Mrs. Donald. Thank you. So who was going to fill these massive shoes? Along came a man who filled them right to the top. Mr. McDermott, you have been a big inspiration and role model for everyone in the class. You have pushed us to achieve our best in every way, and I am certain that we will all benefit from this during our high school careers. Mr. McDermott, I do understand that we as a class have driven you mad, stressed you out, and hopefully made you laugh. but just remember to always breathe. Private class joke, everyone. Finally, to Headmaster. You have made everything funny and interesting and have just topped my great experience up with more greatness. You have been a huge role model for me and have been a big part in my life. Thank you for being the fun and enthusiastic person you are. John Colet has made my life great in every way. I can't express how thankful I am for being here. I've loved every bit of John Colet and the unique and fun ways of teaching. The uniqueness, for example, is Shakespeare. Among many other things, Shakespeare has taught me many things about the Old English language and how useful it can be today. For example, instead of calling out, "Where are you, Mum?" I call out, "Wherefore art thou, Mother?" And I think she appreciates it much more. To my classmates, I will miss every bit of being in your company, but I'm sure along the track somewhere we will meet up and relive old memories. And remember, graduation is one of the most memorable transition points in life. It is a point at which we celebrate what has come before and look forward with hope to the future. We can all be very confident that we have been prepared well for what lies ahead. We owe this to our time at John Colet School. In closing, I have a special message for my dad. 4 years ago, on the day of the trial, you caused me to go into the greatest state of hysteria known to mankind. I never thought I'd say this, Dad, but thanks heaps. And thank you, everyone, for such a great journey.